You're welcome back to the second segment of the main interview. And one aspect of this insecurity that people do not really talk about is those personnel that dies along the attacks that happens regularly, from the kidnappings to the bombings to the terrorist attacks. There are some personnel, especially the policemen, who are being attacked and some being maimed along the operations of all of these. Now we want to talk about this and look at the killings of security personnel amidst security challenges in Nigeria. We have two people in the studio who will be doing justice to our topic this moment. We have Ambassador Oluwayomi Oluwapelumi. She is the convener campaign against killing of security personnel in Nigeria. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. And also we have Reverend Jegede Oluwashew, who is the Vice President, Societal Concerns Organization. Well, you're welcome, the Reverend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. And though you're still here. I'm here. Right. Now, the angle to this insecurity is a personnel angle too. And we know that a lot of personnel have lost their lives in all of these struggles in the national interest. What statistics do you have for these? And why are you coming out to say we must ensure that these personnel are not killed and they are protected while fighting for Nigeria?
Oh, well, thank you, and it's a privilege to be here today to discuss about the intentional killing and unlawful killing of our security personnel. Yet it is not against saying that our personnel are not being protected as expected. In their line of duties, they experience violence, they experience torture, and that has not been considered. We have the police, we have the road safety, we have the army, we have all of that. If we are looking at their interests, then we should be talking about their protection.
Okay.
Talk about from 2022 down to 2025, statistically, the policemen, we have nothing less than 1,400 that had been unlawfully killed on the course of duty. This is very uncalled for. The interest of our security personnel should be of priority. It is in terms of inclusivity that would really make us feel that, like, yes, we have the intention of preserving and protecting their life, and that is why we brought this initiative of protecting our protects us and preserving our unity. The unity of the land have to do with the citizens and the life of the security that have actually put their life at stake by signing or by taking the oath to protect you and I while we go to bed, while we go by our business, and their life themselves have not been protected. So who is going to fight for them? Talk about citizens. If there are issues in terms of the loss of life or situations like that, you get to see justice for this, justice for that. How many times have we called for justice for our security personnel? We cannot go out to protect ourselves. However, security is everybody's business. And it is everybody's business when we take it intentionally, when those people that have actually intentionally put their life at stake to protect us, and seeing them that they are someone's brother, they are someone's husband, that is someone's wife, that is someone's in-law, that is someone's son, that is someone's daughter, then we should be able to preserve them, then we should be able to love them and show them the side of interest that will really make them being active and proactive on the job. Some actually took the job intentionally, but look at the security on the job. This is very uncalled for. It has to do with you and I being reorientated. We need to reorientate ourselves that the preserving the lives of our security have to do with us.
Okay, Reverend Jagade, let's look at the factors. A lot of people will say the compromise to be killed by these security personnel actually is coming from them because they are fraternizing with those they are not supposed to fraternize with. So the gap is there for people to penetrate them and get them killed. Do you buy that idea, or do you think there are other factors that is associated to people killing, especially the terrorists, the kidnappers, killing those security personnel, and they will go scot-free?
Actually, the whole idea of a conservative factor coming from the policemen or the armed forces, it's not negative.
Okay.
In the sense that when you look at the context of where we are today, there are people who evidently have come with evidence to say some of this factor comes from the policemen, and why there are other areas too that are not really directly from them. But then taking it from the angle of, say, jungle justice, situation where people have the right to express what they've gone through, the challenge is not really limited to the persons. Well, a few minutes ago, I had something about systemic problem, and then we also had the issue of legal framework of which things are going on. Some people get discouraged because we realize at the end of the day nothing is going to happen. The situation on ground has become so consistent that even people find it difficult to realize that the place of conscience has become siege. So on that matter of the personnel causing it, yes, I agree, but at the same time there are other concerns from outside that can also lead to why people could react vehemently to what they are not expecting.
So please tell us that. We want to know so that people will learn and stop encouraging the kind of killings that we see these days.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, there are a lot of perspectives to it. For instance, in an Aristotelian society, a society where everything works, there are areas where people need orientation. Okay. When you grow up, for instance, in a setting where disrespect, it's not normal, and you get to another society where disrespect is becoming a new normal, you realize that orientation forms that habit. So on that ground, I like to say that people should try to see it as a joint thing. It's not just leveraging it to the government or private sector alone, but it's everyone's business. So and on that, I want to say that if we actually get to a line of togetherness, we can get it easier than having more problem to solve.
Okay, talking about protecting the security personnel, let me ask you this, because you mentioned that we should not leave it to the government, everybody should come together. But at the same time, if you check the system, there are some things that you can say maybe is responsible for the vulnerability of the security personnel, like corruption and maybe inadequate equipment. So how do you overcome this?
Well, I take it from the area of calling. When you talk about calling, we have a general call before the general call. Now, when you are called into a business, the first thing you ask yourself is why, how, and where. If you have a calling and you are convinced, we have people in professions that situation made them, get there. And I don't want to take it away from history of factors that are related to, compel, motivations. If you have a call as an individual and this is your call, this is your duty, this is a charge, you follow it up strictly, and you don't even look at situation. That doesn't mean that that are push and pull. But notwithstanding, if you have a call and you are convinced, you may not necessarily look at what comes as wages. I'm not saying that's not necessary. What comes as allowance, but you put yourself first. And I want to draw a bit to the religious perspective. When you have sermons, you have orientations, you have things that made you find it difficult to go outside of it because it has become a you and you in you. So I will also encourage the fact that people need to be motivated. People need to be encouraged with equipment, especially the relevant ones, so that you don't become obsolete. But notwithstanding, if you don't have that, there are things that you can do within yourself. What if this is not there? Then what do I do? What if this is not available? Then what do I do? And that comes to the me man.
Okay, now let me come to Ambassador Oluwayomi Oluwapelumi. So I want to, when you talk about
protecting the protector. It sounds as if someone that is protecting people cannot protect himself. That sounds somehow absurd to me, because I believe that you give to people what you have. There is an adage in Yoruba that says that if you want to give people clothes, they will look at the one you're wearing. Now, if they cannot protect themselves, how can we say that the society is safe from them? So now, the campaign, how do you intend to overcome this problem?
Well, thank you so much for that question. Protecting our protectors. We are saying that you just analyze that the protectors would have been able to protect themselves. Of course, the assignment of the protectors is to protect lives and properties. However, let's not forget the fact that they are also human. They are not superior. They are not ghosts. They are from our community. They are also human like us. And in that right, would you imagine when the officer personnel is on the job, and on the job we have different instances. Let's make reference to the instance of the just most recent.
Okay.
Although another one had happened, but let's talk about the general.
Okay.
Look at that on the job. Look at custom. Last month in KB State, we have one of the custom officer that also lost his life on the job. There are different instances like that. We could not just keep mentioning names. On the job of protecting on the job of delivering their normal assignments. And because we feel unsecured, you know, human, and especially in Nigeria, we have this mentality of first attack, self-defense. We want to feel that like we're always right. Even we don't want anything that very well, the law is meant to checkmate us. But when we feel that like we are not in the position to get it right, we are not getting it right, instead of facing the consequence, we don't want to face the consequences, and we don't want the force to fall back on us. We first gave this attack. Some drivers intentionally, we have the record, we have the video, intentionally because they're seeing the policeman or the road safety standing. Probably their thought is, he's going to wave me down, he's going to have this, he's going to, whatever reason, and the next thing this driver, some of them will do, is to intentionally speed up, claiming that it is brake failure. We have different instances like that. As security personnel, their purpose of being on the job is to secure our lives, is to secure our properties. However, they also have their own life to live. They also have a family that they left, forgetting the fact that they will be in the sun, depending on their duty post, their call of duty. They will be in the sun, they deprive themselves of all of these rights. But they also need attention. They also need attention, and it is in making them peaceful, being comfortable, that is when they can be mentally effective. That is when we can get the best from them. Talking about provision, a lot of personnel, a lot of them that make me understand that they have to strategically leave their duty post to trek miles to get water. Why would water not be given to them? Meanwhile, some of them are even positioned in some political offices like that, but just water. Just water. I have some of them like that. And we have them at different level and different categories. All of these provisions, they are basic provision that will make them deliver. If they must deliver, then they must be comfortable. You cannot ask them to go and give you the best when you did not equip them. You just ask a question now. We cannot downplay the fact that we need the government. But in the place of the government, what are the responsibilities of the government? What are the responsibilities of citizens? That is why we said security is everybody's business. If security is everybody's business, then we should know what to do. If our security personnel are on the job, they will not be, they also need attention, like I said. They need water, they need care. We go to the same markets like them. Most of all of these people, they don't even go and spend their holidays or leave and all of that. They don't go and leave. But what provision are we bringing to them? What attention are we giving to them? We have companies, we have organizations that can even divert their CSR to them. We have organizations that can make provisions, maybe in things like that, with your ID card, just pick it somewhere, just to control this and manage them. It is very possible.
Okay.
With your ID card, you can just go to an organization and pick your beverage. You know, it will really go a long way. Talk about their take home. Is this really encouraging? Most of them buy their uniform themselves. Most of them send children to school. A lot. There was a time that one of these went viral when the man was complaining after all of these years of service. What is my take home? Is this? I'm returning it, all that.
Okay.
Can we have
Okay, now let's talk about the way forward. Now you've started with the advocacy from your organization. How do you want the Nigerians or the citizens of Nigeria to take this issue that you have identified? Do you think it can be driven to every family? Because with what we have said, no family, no lineage will not have one security personnel in their lineage. How do you want Nigerians to see security personnel, and how do you want us to take care of them?
Well, thank you so much. Sincerely, we need to see them as ourselves. We need to see them as our brother. We need to see them as our sisters. We need to see them as part of us. We don't need to feel threatened by their uniform. We need to respect their uniform. We need to see them and let them feel self-belonging. We need to see them as part of us. Let us be intentional by protecting the interests of our security personnel. Our security personnel, be it as is may, in any family, when the life of that security personnel is being cut off, what becomes of the wife? What becomes of the children? That is forgotten. The only respect, or it's only as at that time we talk about it, but it's all gone. Is there any provision for the widow? Is there any provision for the orphan? And all of that. If you could see that this is my brother, then you will really see that you need to protect the interests of your brother. If you are seeing yourself in that uniform, what would you have been able to do better? We need to reorientate ourselves and see that they are part of us.
Reverend Jagede, as we leave, don't you think we also need to reorientate Nigerians about the laws that these security personnel are trying to entrench into the society? I think a lot of education should be pushed forward into people knowing the laws of each of these agencies. Is the organization looking towards that angle too?
Yes, we are looking at orientation. Of course, it's an advocacy program, and it's a concern about what we have and what to do. But talking about the orientation and the process, we are looking at a way of working through the curriculum of schools. And you know, I don't need to go into the educational sphere, but there are certain things that are out of school curriculum. But we're trying to look at how we can actually orientate people at that level of school, secondary school, primary school, churches, and institutions that can actually help them see a real person in these people. You also know that we inherited some history. People who will tell you my experience in the northern part still lives with me, my experience in the south, in the east, and all of those things. So we want to look at a space where we can actually take advantage of leveraging the reality of what has happened, and also forgiveness. You know, that's also a challenge in the country. And we also want to actually talk to people from the perspective of seeing what happened as something that is designed, not really by God, but situational, driven, rather than motivational.
Okay, just one question quickly before we leave. I want to know that what are the things you put in place, even for the security personnel, to also see the society as part of them? Because we're talking about them now. You're saying that we should love them, we should treat them well. Some of them are cruel too. They operate outside what have been maybe trained for. So I wanted to quickly speak to them as well.
Okay, for us, this is the second edition of the campaigning against the killing of our security personnel. This was launched last year. And for this, we actually tried to put some activities in place for us to see, and especially the youth to see that they are part of us. We have football competition, we have some competition between the youths and also the personnel in order for us to have an interrelationship.
Okay, that's all. The time will permit us to go for that. I know that a lot of questions is there for us, are there for us to ask, and you are also here to answer us. But time is not on our side. We need to leave.
I would have said that the program that we have for them are cut across Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja. Between 28th November down to 12th December, between Lagos, Ogun, and in Abuja, between the security personnel and the youths.
Okay, thank you so much, Ambassador Oluwayomi Oluwapelumi, the convener of campaign against killing of security personnel all across Nigeria. Thank you for coming on the show. And we also had Reverend Jagade Oluwasho, who is a Vice President, Societal Concerns Organization. Thank you so much for coming, Reverend.
Thank you for having me.
And though you will need to leave on the program.
Of course. We don't want to be chased out of here. From me, I say thank you for watching today's episode, this segment especially. See you next time.